You hit play on your favorite track. Simple, right? Well, not exactly. We do it dozens of times a day, completely taking for granted the massive, invisible digital machinery humming away in the background. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to trace the fascinating hidden digital footprint of modern music consumption. We're mapping out exactly how it tracks, survives, and thrives by visiting 3 very different, highly specific corners of the internet.
Okay, let's dive right in by asking a pretty fundamental question. How does a track actually reach your ears and take on a life of its own in today's incredibly fragmented digital landscape? I mean, think about it. 20 years ago, a song's journey was a straight line. Studio, plastic CD, store shelf, your stereo. Done. But today, it is absolutely not a straight line anymore. It's this wild, multi-layered ecosystem of raw data, algorithms, and hyper-passionate fan curation. It is quite the journey, and we're going to map it out together.
Act 1. The local scene drop. Building grassroots hype.
So let's start at the absolute micro level, looking at how regional scenes rally a dedicated fan base. For this, we're looking at a 2019 Polish hip-hop drop on the community aggregator blog bryzia.pl. Just to get their track Decydu out there, an independent local artist like Episadime KNF has to hit Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, and that's just the start. They also have to target highly regional hubs like empik.com and even local mobile carriers like T-Mobile. We kind of tend to think releasing music just means putting it on Spotify, right? But for a grassroots artist, it's a relentless manual hustle. It's a sheer numbers game of availability in a very crowded market.
But here's the kicker. All that flawless digital distribution, it means absolutely nothing without a genuine artistic identity. You can be on every single platform in the world, but if the music doesn't authentically connect with the culture, it's just dead data. The blog post releasing this track actually highlights the artist's original flow and lyrical care. It's a great reminder that local drops rely heavily on raw, specific appeal to build hype for an upcoming album, which in this case was titled Hybrid. Before a track can conquer any algorithm, it has to resonate on that gritty, street level first. It has to actually mean something to the neighborhood.
And this brings us to a wildly clever modern strategy. You've got this hyper-local, gritty hustle of physical streetwear sales, brands like Prima Sort and Patriotic Clothing. But they are positioned directly next to the polished, pristine storefronts of trillion-dollar global tech giants. It is brilliant, really. The artist is essentially hijacking the massive, expensive infrastructure of multinational companies, using them as a free billboard to drive their own local merchandise hustle and fund the neighborhood movement.
Act 2. The global streaming storefront. Cataloging for the masses. All right, let's pull the camera way back now. We're moving from the localized hustle to how an artist's entire digital footprint is cataloged for global discovery on a platform like Apple Music. Take the artist Zekin, for example. The sheer prolific output required just to stock a modern digital storefront is mind-blowing. Zekin dropped 6 full projects in just 4 years. That includes 3 completely distinct albums in the year 2020 alone. Just think about the immense pressure of that. Artists today are constantly forced to feed the algorithm. It really begs the question, what does this relentless pace do to the artistic process when your main goal is just maximizing digital real estate? Because of that constant output, streaming platforms have essentially made time collapse. A global storefront doesn't just show your chronological history, it acts as an eternal present. It's a living, breathing catalog where a brand new 2024 single is sitting side by side with the 2022 album cut, both desperately competing for a listener's fleeting attention. In the old days, a band toured an album, the cycle ended, you moved on. Now, the cycle never ends. A fan discovering Zekin today is just as likely to be served a 2-year-old track as yesterday's release. The music never ages out. It just flattens into one massive, endless menu. 100 million. Take a second to really let the gravity of that number sink in. Apple Music boasts over 100 million tracks on its servers. This is exactly why that flattened, eternal catalog matters so much. You aren't just competing with the indie band down the street anymore. When a musician uploads a song today, they are a single, microscopic drop in a vast global ocean. They are fighting for relevance alongside Mozart, the Beatles, Michael Jackson, and literally almost every single piece of recorded audio in human history. The competition for your ear is infinite. Act 3. The fan community afterlife, where music truly lives. Let's fast forward a bit to May 9th, 2026, and step into the digital equivalent of a late-night diner, a dedicated Reddit forum. This is where we witness the ultimate afterlife of a music drop. It's been exactly 1 year since the band Sleep Token dropped their album, Even in Arcadia.
The promotional cycle is entirely over. The algorithm has moved on to the next trend. But here, the fans have taken over. They're dissecting, ranking, and immortalizing the music in ways the artist could never possibly control. This is where the music stops being a commercial product and becomes a fiercely defended, lived experience. If we treat these fan rankings like a psychological profile of the community, it's absolutely fascinating. Out of an entire album, a decentralized hive mind of strangers unconsciously agrees on the masterpieces. Clear consensus data emerges. The tracks Infinite Baths and Look to Windward completely dominate the top spots across almost every user's list. The artist released 12 tracks, hoping they'd all be loved, but the community collectively decides which ones will actually echo through time.
But honestly, my favorite part of the fan afterlife is the wild, chaotic subjectivity of it all. Take the track Past Self. On one hand, it's overwhelmingly pushed to the absolute bottom tier by users who basically skip it every time. But simultaneously, another user ranks it as their #1 favorite, calling it a dancy little longing bop, while someone else passionately argues it's the most important song on the entire record lyrically. Think about how beautiful that is. The artist uploaded a single static MP3 file, but the community downloaded it and created 1,000 completely different, highly personal, emotional interpretations.
And this thought from a fan really captures why any of this matters. This level of musical obsession goes so far beyond a stream count or a merch purchase. Music acts as a profound emotional anchor. Over years of re-listening, a song intertwines with our personal memories. As they describe it, circling back to an obsessed song transports them through time, forcing them to confront emotions they've never felt before. The tech platforms, Spotify, Apple, they just delivered the raw data. But the human being on the other end, they're the one who built its soul.
Conclusion: the modern listener ecosystem.
We've gone on quite a ride in this explainer today. We started with the gritty hustle of a regional blog drop in Poland. We zoomed out to the endless catalog of a global storefront, where an artist fights against all of recorded history. And finally, we drilled right down into the passionate track rankings of a subreddit. It's a complex, multi-tiered journey. So I challenge you right now. Think about the last song you truly obsessed over. Where did your own listening habits fit into this ecosystem? Were you chasing the local hype of an underground scene? Were you fed a track by a global algorithm? Or are you the type passionately debating lyrics on a forum a year later? You aren't just a consumer. You're a crucial participant in this flow of culture. It leaves us with this final, beautiful reality to ponder. An artist pours their heart into creating a song. They exhaust themselves distributing it across global platforms. They fight tooth and nail against the algorithm just to get noticed. But ultimately, the fans give it life. When a song drops, it belongs to the artist. But a year later, who does it really belong to? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep exploring, and I'll catch you next time.